All right, folks, good evening. Another Friday here, and welcome one and all to another edition of The Hangout. All right, then, I'm hanging out with Jide, a returning Jide. Jide, good evening. Welcome back. Each time you go out and come back, you look a little different, but good for you. Good for you.
You're encouraging me to be going.
I haven't said so. Adekunle has just joined us. Kunle, I greet you. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Okay then. Now, you know, I'm Citizen Jones. Today on the program, quite a lot to discuss. One of the stories making the rounds would be Omoyele Sowore's freedom from the DSS cell. Quite a lot to discuss, you know. Jide,
and the sudden rearrest.
And the sudden rearrest, you know, not the best way to make news.
Yeah. The footages that I've seen are quite disturbing. In the court premises, people formed a kind of shield
Around
him, trying to prevent his arrest. And
you mean rearrest?
his rearrest. You know, he was released yesterday on the order of the court, and then the court mandated him to appear in court today. So Sowore was in court along with his lawyers, and the DSS men came into the court premises after the judge adjourned the matter to the month of February next year. But people resisted his arrest, and FELONY told them in plain language that you can't arrest anyone within the court premises.
Okay.
Yes, and people were waiting outside to make sure that Sowore was not arrested with, even outside the court premises.
Are we giving any reason for the rearrest?
No. So FELONY by himself drove Sowore to the offices of the DSS for them to then effect his arrest as they wanted. No one can say this is the reason, but I think it's embarrassing the extent to which the DSS is going. I don't think that Sowore constitutes the kind of threat that we are being made to believe it constitutes. Yes, some of us condemned his action, and we felt that no serious government will allow anyone to issue the kind of threats that he issued. But at this stage, it is clear that he doesn't even have the capacity to trouble a government like we have in power. He doesn't have the capacity.
After you expected,
he doesn't have the support base.
Okay.
He doesn't have the support base. You know, at that time, Sowore said that people all over the country were ready to protest, you know, to join his revolution.
Movement,
but clearly, that was not true. He does not have that support base. You have taken his passport. You have restricted him to Abuja, which means all that you need to do as a serious security organization is to unleash your men to conduct surveillance around where he's going to stay in Abuja, because he cannot leave the federal capital.
Yeah.
He has his passport, even his American passport had been taken from him. So what is the big deal? Where can he go?
Traveling out was not
Traveling
on the
out
cards.
is out of it.
So, but Adekunle, just a minute. None of us is a lawyer, because I don't know how these things work. If you are granted bail and you had met the bail conditions, so what was the problem? Do we understand what played out? Kunle, you want to try?
The question?
Yeah, go.
Just look at it, and it's so clear. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a judge. You don't have to be. Just with enough education, you will know what is right from what is not right. Believe me, what happened today is an affront on the rule of law in this country. It's a desecration of, the judiciary. How many times has the court said, release this fellow? This is not to me that some of us are, fans
approve of his actions.
Sowore, or we love his style or his whatever. No, but he's a human being, and whatever threat he constitutes or he may have constituted by anybody's imagination, the court said release him. And if the court said release him, please obey the rule of law. Anything outside that we call it impunity, we call it dictatorship. Anybody that loves or pretends to love what happened to Sowore today must be a tyrant, or he must be a slave of another tyrant. Believe me, it's a total desecration of the rule of law in Nigeria.
Yeah, Jide, we must broach it here. Ours here is to help mold opinion. So at a time like this, what should be the message to people who are likely to be in Sowore's palaver? If you got what I'm saying,
The point,
our environment is a peculiar one.
no, we shouldn't make the environment more toxic than it is, because it serves no purpose to do that. What we are saying is we have to respect the DSS is a creation of the law. If it's a creation of the law, then it must obey the law. And once our judges have made their decisions known, those decisions must be obeyed. They must be obeyed. That is the point that we are making. We can't have a situation in which the federal government, through its agents, like the DSS, will choose what decisions of the court they want to obey. If you are not happy with a decision of the court, then you should appeal. You are taking people to court. You expect the court to serve justice in respect of people that you are taking to court. But you do not want to obey some of the decisions of the court that appear to not be in your favor. I mean, this is it's not what any sensible person should encourage. No one is saying that what Sowore has done is good. When he did that thing, on this program, we condemned his actions. Though we know that, we knew at that time that it was just an impotent threat. But at the same time, no one should expect the government to simply look away. But we have a situation in which his movement has been curtailed. You have restricted him to Abuja. You've taken his passport. Yet, at every opportunity, once the judges rule that you should grant him bail, you will not grant him. You will not. That should be granted bail. You will not let him breathe the air of freedom. You said you were not going to release him to rioters so that they do not eventually kill him. But his lawyer has come to take the guy away. So is it FELONY that will kill him now? So what is the excuse for keeping him? Because we are giving Nigeria a bad name.
Yeah.
Some of us get put to shame by some of these actions. But I don't know how some other people reason. Especially some of our people in Abuja. I don't know how they reason. It is not good for the image of our country for us to be seen as a country where the government of the day is selective in obeying court orders. So Sowore, as far as I'm concerned, is an insignificant activist. Insignificant in the sense that he cannot threaten this government.
Yeah.
He cannot harm this government in any way. He cannot harm this government. So what is the thing? What keep locking him up as if you found guns on him or that he said he was going to kill the president or what? I mean, this is an overkill, and I think we've had enough of this.
Yusuf, and the DSS is not talking to Nigerians. And when there's no information, rumors will fill the gap. And you're wondering, are we in a quandary?
No, I don't think it is true that DSS has not been talking. They've been saying all the things from...
What I'm saying, if he was granted bail yesterday and is rearrested, there must be, somebody must be talking to us.
Believe me, if you have been listening to the DSS, you know, they come out all the time to talk, from the funny to the ridiculous to everything. You hear from them all the time. You see, DSS is directly supervised by the president of the country. I'm sure the president will not like a situation whereby, you know, an agency under his control will give his own administration a bad name. I don't think the President Muhammadu Buhari will like that. The video of what happened in the court, you know, do you know it has gone viral? And as we speak, Nigeria is a laughing stock in the committee of, you know, democratic nations. If you see what they are writing about Nigeria now, because we are in a democracy, why should we allow this to happen? I believe the president needs to put a stop to this. I don't see Sowore as a national security threat, no matter whatever any other
we must bury it now, but I know the debate will continue. Jide, how do we take it home?
Yes, whatever threats that he issued were impotent. He lacks the capacity to bring our nation to its knees. So what we are doing to him now, in my view, amounts to an overkill. They should just let him go. And once they let him go, they will see clearly that it was just an impotent threat that he issued at the time. He does not have followership. He does not have people to help him actualize that dream. And you have his passport in your hand. So where does he go? He can't travel out of the country. You have resisted him to Abuja. So how does he still constitute a threat? Except we are saying that you don't want him to grant any form of interview. But he has the freedom of
as a media man.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that's it about the story. But then we are keeping tabs on the development, and we shan't hesitate to let you know what's unfolding. We are sorry about the dilemma of Omoyele Sowore. Now then, let's go to our next subject matter. You know, an abiding trouble with our democracy is the sanctity of elections. And each time an election in our country is disputed, the INEC, which is the referee in a manner of speaking, takes the rap. But the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood Yahaya, is saying, please allow the smart card reader to be. To him, it appears to be the answer. But he insists it must be backed by law.
You see, the problem that we have in our country regarding inability to organize free, fair, and credible elections can be blamed on the politicians and their collaborators in INEC. Whatever Professor Jega says, he knows in his heart that, I mean, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, whatever he says, he knows in his heart that INEC has a lot of bad eggs. Bad eggs who are consultants for politicians. They have recs, they have irresponsible electoral officers who connive with politicians to rig elections. So even if we have the card reader, although the card reader is good, no doubt about it, the card reader is good, but it does not in itself guarantee that an election will not be rigged.
In our environment?
Yes, because today, as I speak to you, INEC's documents are being printed by politicians. And it is the same INEC staff who give them the security features.
Did you hear that?
I know.
Yeah, okay.
I know, and I can remind you, you can Google it when we leave this place, that in 2015, in Rivers State, arrests were made. A printer, someone who was printing INEC ballot materials, was arrested in Rivers State. But today, we don't know how that matter ended.
Not punished.
When we leave this place, Google it, you will see. I don't say things that are not true. I say things that are credible. So the truth is, INEC has staff very senior staff who are consultants to politicians who pay them just to help them to rig elections. You see, once INEC comes out with its own Form EC8A and the rest of them, politicians have exactly the same form. INEC staff sell Form EC8A to politicians. But politicians will keep that form. When they rig election, when they snatch ballot boxes all over the place, they'll come with prepared results. Put guns to the neck of innocent core members.
Who organizes the snatching and so on?
Of course, it's the politicians with the thugs that they recruit. Thugs who sometimes wear army uniform.
So I deliberately asked that. So you put the politician in one box, and then the INEC in
then
the other box.
Then even the judiciary, I'll blame the judiciary too. Now, the judiciary shouldn't have given that judgment that invalidated the card reader. They gave that order just to achieve an aim that in the end pleased the politicians. Because Section 160 of the Constitution says that in the performance of his duty, INEC is mandated, and it is not subject to control of the president. INEC is mandated to come up with its own rule, with its own processes, and with its own regulations.
Yes.
So if the card reader, yes, and about that, there shall be no contention of any sort. Once INEC comes out to say this is the way we want to conduct this election, the law, the Constitution permits INEC to not be questioned. Now, when you have the card reader, the INEC comes up with the idea of the card reader. The judiciary should have backed INEC by saying, yes, the card reader being an initiative of INEC, and being that the Constitution, including the amendment to it in 2015, permits INEC to come up with its own processes, its own rules, its own body of rules. They should, if they wanted to do what the lawyers called the mischief rule, the judiciary should have backed INEC. But it didn't back INEC. Instead, they didn't back INEC. They now said, oh, yes. They now said, oh, the card reader was, that they should not, is not backed by law.
Yusuf, you must come in here. Now, let's look at the smart card reader. The INEC believes, the chairman of the INEC believes it's like maybe not the end all to our electoral woes, but the smart card reader must be backed by law, and this law can only be made by politicians, the main beneficiaries.
Honestly, it's a good idea, and I must admit it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Under the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, this country made remarkable gains in its electoral journey. You understand me? This idea of card reader, all those things, were part of the gains, at that time. But you remember, Jide said something now that really resonated with me. Why? In Rivers State, in the 2015 election, that was not an election that brought in the current governor, he is on Wike, But when they got to the Supreme Court nullified all arguments, all because they were saying
all arguments, genuine and otherwise,
because of smart.
They had lost at the lower courts, but at the Supreme Court.
You understand me? That solely because of you are relying on smart card reader, that the law of Nigeria doesn't, recognize this and all that. From that time till now, our electoral integrity has been going down and down and down, something that we should have been improving and be, moving up. Now, coming with this Professor Yakubu, I'm surprised that now he's now the one talking about it, because it's something he should have been doing since he took over. Now, if we want to do it, how do we do it? Smart card readers, if you go to smart card reader, slot in your card. Number one, it will prove whether you are the owner or not, because that is very, very essential.
Yeah.
But if the smart card reader doesn't recognize it, there's what they call incidence form.
Yeah.
In most of our
Remember,
elections,
former President Jonathan relied on the incident form.
you know, but
his vote.
what that was provided for was that in case, you know, technology,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, fails sometimes. So it's just to take care of little lapses that may have arisen. Now, do you know that majority of what we now do is not even for through card reader, is now through incident forms. And through these incident forms, you can do and undo, rig and rig, and most of these things will not be able to be traced. Even when we talk about, you know, underage voters, we talk about rigging. I've monitored elections very well. I know somebody in the House of Reps today that when he was, you know, chair of House Committee on Defense,
Okay.
he was using the vans provided by virtually all the security agencies. He was sitting down there in my presence. I was following. He was carrying it in his own hand, carrying ballot boxes. So this thing is not. It's a big business for politicians. They have
Yusuf,
their talks.
you know, report, but that's a pun. Forget about it.
But no, I'm just trying to tell you that politicians, they don't joke with
but
this.
Let's home in on what the chairman of the INEC is saying. Is it odd? Is it too late? Is it too early to talk about the smart card reader being made lawful?
No, you see, I don't blame him totally that for the fact that it still is not law. It is the president that I blame, because the president had all the time in the world to give his assent, but he refused. If you remember the amendment,
I mean the last
yes, this last after an extensive what was it called, public hearing by INEC. INEC was hoping that some reforms will happen, and then they can be codified in the new in the amendment to the Electoral Act. Now, the Senate had sessions. INEC made contributions, you know, to the new body of rules to guide our election, but the president refused to give his assent.
Okay.
Now, remember that in 2015, assent to the to Section 52, I mean, assent to the new electoral, to the amendment to the Electoral Act came on 28th of March, on the eve of the election. Goodluck Jonathan gave his assent, but President Buhari refused to give his assent this last time. And I think by doing that, we have not helped the cause of free, fair, and credible election. The truth is, ideally, that matter should not have been decided by the judiciary in the manner that I decided it. So INEC should have said, look, INEC, go ahead and use the card reader. Today, INEC still insists that non-use of the card reader is a punishable offense.
That's it.
But nobody listens to INEC, where you see huge votes returned from some areas, some parts of our country. It's because they didn't use the card reader. Where people do not use the card reader, INEC mandates its electoral officers to cancel the ballots in those areas. But a lot of those electoral officers, because they are working in cahoot with politicians, they do not have the courage to cancel election because of non-use of the card reader.
All right.
So he still has the power.
We must pass over now. Not time. But otherwise, I was going to ask you in 30 seconds, is it possible, are we late for e-voting? Because we must go on a break.
We are not late.
E-voting.
We are not late.
So how about giving bite to the law, make the smart card reader, at least give the INEC a tool, that as a chief tool to work with, so there'll be no more complaints.
It's something we can do. And another aspect is about punishing electoral offenders.
All right.
This law will do that.
Okay, we must move ahead. Let's take this breather. Please don't go away. Stay. Okay then, Jide, before we leave this to rest, there must be one final line, one punch line, yeah.
Yes, I want the electronic accreditation device that is the smart card. I want it to be a fixture in our electoral process.
To be made law.
Yes, it should be made law. There should not be any election where we do not use it, whether in the north or in the south. Then, of course, INEC staff must change their ways. In Kogi and Bayelsa, there were places where elections were disrupted, and INEC staff shamelessly still returned votes cast in those areas. In some places, even indicating 90% turnout. When they sit down in the room, when the Rex, another big staff of INEC, sit down in the room, they should be able to speak the truth to themselves. They should also remember that one day they will go and meet their maker, except if they are atheists and they do not believe in God. One day they will go and meet their maker, and a lot of the things that they do, they will pay for it, because there are bad eggs in INEC, and they deserve to be shown the door.
Okay, then. Let's move on now. You know, Senator Tijanni Yahaya Kaura rubbishes claims that former Governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, is behind killings in that state. Of course, for a former governor still smarting under the pangs of a halt to his monthly retirement benefits, this is one big meat to chew.
Yes, it's, I'm not surprised that one of those loyal to ex-Governor Yari has come in his defense. I also do not believe that he's behind the killings.
Okay, let's quickly hear the senator. Okay. Senator Tijanni Yahaya Kaura. Let's hear him now.
It is really very unfair for anybody to wake up and blame Abdulaziz Yari for being responsible for banditry activities in Zamfara State. However, those people making such allegations should have come out in very clear terms to define the moment and time at which Abdulaziz Yari is responsible for that. Is it that he has been responsible since he was the governor of Zamfara State, or after he left the government house? If they are saying he has been responsible since when he was governor of Zamfara State, then I think the security apparatus in this country are not working well. Because in every other security meeting the governor led at that time, he must have presided over that meeting with security agencies ranging from the army, the police, and members of the state security services. And I think that should be, if the governor was responsible for banditry in Zamfara, that means that all members of the security apparatus of this country who are resident in Zamfara must have equally been responsible with him. That's one. And if the allegation is after he left government house, then I repeat, let us have a proof. I want to challenge any other person who blames Abdulaziz Yari for being responsible for banditry after leaving office to tell us who are the bandits that Abdulaziz Yari met with, and where is he meeting with them. I think only when you prove this, one can now see this kind of allegation. However, I think I have to sound once again, I have to preach to those people making this allegation to fear God in allegations they level. When some people were attacked in Karahe last time, the governor came out and told the world that the fight was a reprisal attack. Okay, it is a reprisal. We hope there will not be more reprisal again. But when later again he blamed the former governor of the same attack, I begin to wonder, then who did the initial attack before the reprisal? If it were Ensake who did the attack before the reprisal, then it means that the allegation is twofold. That the governor is working with the bandits on one hand and working with the Ensake on the other hand, which is not possible. So I think we have to be very, very clear and be very, very honest in leveling people with allegation on these matters. It is very unfortunate that a sitting governor can just say that I will go myself and arrest former governor. That is, he was talking ungovernably. I don't expect a governor who is a governor of a state like our own, with all the people and all the population, all the richness and everything, to make pronouncement that you will go and arrest the former governor in his house, when you have commissioner of police, you have director SSS, you have everybody who are responsible for that. That is not the responsibility of His Excellency the Governor. Please let him sit in his office and do his work, and let the security people, if Abdulaziz Yari has committed an error worthy of arrest, let police go and arrest him, not the governor. The governor cannot arrest the governor, because that is not his responsibility. I want to beg him to please choose his words very well.
All right, Senator Tijanni Yahaya Kaura, I must mention here, was a senator representing Zamfara North and was at the time secretary to the government there. So are you persuaded by his argument?
Of course. If he didn't really end his statement there, because he was making the point that when that attack on Karai happened, the government said it was a reprisal attack to avenge the killing of Fulanis a few weeks back. Now, you can't then, after explaining why that happened, because some 9 Fulanis were killed, they then came on a vengeful mission, as they always do. They don't forgive. They came on a vengeful mission and then killed about, I think, 14 persons. So the government explained what happened, that that it was a reprisal attack. To then come and give the impression that it is Yari that is behind it is wrong, because you have to remember what you said earlier. And that's exactly what happened. Yari had no hand. He had nothing to do with what happened in Karai. Yes, Yari had been governor in that state. They accused him. They said he was the one who formed the NSAK, which is the vigilance group that confronts the bandits when they come. But it doesn't mean that if those guys, that any action taken by NSAK or the vigilance group, as they are called, must have been sanctioned by the governor. So this is the thing. The governor and the former governor, they must find a way to resolve their differences, because they are just heating up the polity unnecessarily in that state. And the killings have stopped in Zamfara. We don't want the killings to continue. When the killings were on, we were always talking about it. We are happy that the killings have stopped. Even Senator Kaura too admitted it, that the killings have stopped. Nobody wants to see people being killed. But you cannot accuse someone wrongly of being behind
otherwise, that
killings.
to me is buck passing.
No, it's even unfair to say someone who had nothing to do with killing was the cause of the killing.
Yusuf, and because you are the man at the helm, you know, look at it from any angle. Security, as governor, you are the chief security officer of the state. So you take the rap if anything goes wrong.
I think
this is not taking sides.
I think it's unfair when you over-politicize every matter, including security. You know, it has been a frosty relationship between the former Governor Yari and the man that is there now. You know, a lot of things, happened, recently, including the State Assembly abolishing the juicy pension. That was something that angered many people, including Governor Yari himself. So any attempt to rubbish, one another now is like the new style of politics.
Jide talked about the fear of God.
Yes,
it goes beyond. It's the man inside you.
Yes, I'm just trying to provide context into it. So what they are doing is just like every attempt to rubbish, each other, you just do it, which is not fair, because when you look at the history of the communities where skirmishes happen, you see they have a history of retaliation, here and there. So you can't, I don't think it's the former governor, but it is because of the bad blood that has come up recently in terms of the way the PDP, took over that state through the, Supreme Court. is making many people, you know, on the other side unhappy.
Yeah,
Then later, many of the policies and actions of the sitting, you know, government, you know, are making, you know, the people on the the other side even, you know, more angry and so all these things, you know, are coming to play. When it comes to matters of, you know, security, they should just allow the security agencies to do their work instead of passing, you know, and trying to rubbish somebody unduly. That's not fair. That is certainly not fair.
This thing is not. It's a common feature across board, though, you know, because there's bad blood and stuff like that. But mine is each time somebody gets killed, a little something should die inside you.
Yes.
Because these people get killed for no just cause.
Yes. That's why John Donne said, the death of any man diminishes me.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm involved in mankind. So we should not be happy to watch people die, even if we do not share their political or ethnic affiliations. It's a sad thing. We were far away, you know, but we were always complaining that people were being killed in Zamfara, and we wanted an end to the killings. Now the government of the day has come up with a kind of peace initiative that the bandits have embraced. Of course, even Yari too once had, this governor, former governor, Yari once had a peace deal.
Yeah.
But invariably, they went back to killing people and all that. So we pray that this one will not happen like that.
My trouble is we pray too much in this country. We do a lot less.
Well,
let's keep praying.
You see, you know,
I'm sorry.
When I say we pray,
no. I know
it's also we hope. You know, the word pray, the meaning of the word pray is not simply to pray to God. The literal meaning is not simply to pray to God.
Means we hope.
So
we've been praying since 1960.
Pray can also mean hope.
Okay.
Or even please, or even mean please.
Except that hope is a very good breakfast, but a bad.
You know, when the lawyers use the word pray, they are not talking to God.
Okay.
So that's the point I'm making. Now the thing is, let's have peace. Let's have peace. My own advice is for the two of them. They are the two biggest politicians in Zamfara State today. They have to find a way to work together. Look at what happened between Kolade-Otitoju and the Fayose the other day. Yes.
You would expect all hell to
yes,
be
but
Kolade-Otitoju
attended the marriage of
Fayose's son's
wedding.
Yes,
son's wedding. Yeah. That is the way it should be. I want to see a situation in which Governor Bello Mutawalli, after all, they used to be chummy, and they've helped one another in the past. We'll see Yari as someone that they can work together as a partner, because it is not about them as individuals, it's about the state. And those little squabbles that they get, they work themselves up over, will not bring development. Yes, they will not bring development to the state. The state needs development, so they need to come together. Accusing someone, look at the governor. The governor even said that he was going to personally arrest the former governor. You can't do that. There are soldiers, there are military, there are policemen. If there is a need to arrest Abdulaziz Yari, those are the you don't have to go there personally to effect the arrest. Well, that was the promise that he made. He said he will personally lead them to arrest. What is the job of the soldiers?
You and I must know that most times these things are fallouts of the
bad blood.
Yorubas call it emewa. The people around the governor. Oga no grill. Oga even me be you. And blah blah and things like that. So this is when, and this is not talking about a PDP or an APC solution. We would need Nigerian solutions to the problems here because they are created by Nigerians.
And do you know the good thing in all of this?
If you tell me.
The former Governor Yari is a very, very devout Muslim. So is the current one. And I think the two of them know very well
can you spell devout?
That
and tell me.
No, I'm coming.
And tell me it matters here in this.
I'm coming. That power only comes from God. That, and if you have an opportunity, you know, It is a transient thing.
Just do your best for the people.
Do your best. See it as a call to service, that you are just serving God. This idea of trying to, go petty shouldn't be. Yari, I want to appeal that he knows he has lost out. It may be temporary. He can always bounce back. The one that is there now shouldn't see himself as a macho man. Life is not what many people think it is. How many years do we live here? We are temporary animals.
All right. As I said, these problems are creations of Nigerians. And so it's not a party solution we need. It's a totally Nigerian solution to these problems. The politicians must help us. We need them now more than at any other time. Okay then, our next subject matter we'll go straight to. Now, the Nigerian customs, of course you must agree that the news is tightening chokingly on smugglers across the country, and this is coming from the border closure. The daredevilry of the contrabandists, that's another word for smugglers, boiled over when about 23 jerry cans, gentlemen, can you imagine this? 23 jerry cans of the PMS were neatly concealed in 2 caskets and abandoned by the, it's very Nigerian. You expect this, or didn't you?
Yes, there are all kinds of videos that I'm seeing of people desperate to smuggle rice into our country. When a piece of business has huge profit margin or potential for profit, huge potential for profit, Nigerians will kill to get involved in it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no way you can convince them to not get involved in it, because they are looking at the money. It's the money. They say, oh, cocoa, So it is that money that drives people to come up with all kinds of schemes, funny ideas to bring in products on the prohibited list, or to export products.
See the footage we have.
Yes.
We are seeing.
You think that, okay, this is a dead person. Look at the way. Look at the coffin, but it's actually petrol that they put. Look at, when you see these people going, like in a convoy, you would think they are mourners going to the burial of a loved one. You won't know that it's actually petrol that they concealed in it. Across the border, petrol is very expensive.
No wonder you guys call smuggling firewall.
Across the border.
Sorry, let me tell you, firewall. You crawl on.
Just crawl on all fours, but just get across the border.
Anyhow.
Yes, petrol is.
Sorry.
All the countries around us have removed subsidy on PMS.
Yeah.
We are the only country still subsidizing PMS. So it follows that in those countries, petrol will be far more expensive than it is in our country.
Yeah.
So if you can smuggle it across to those places where it still sells at a premium, then it means that you make more money. Yeah. That is what our people are doing. And on the reverse side, if you can bring in rice into our country,
willy-nilly,
you bring in rice. A bag of rice sells for about 3,500 in Benin Republic, depending on the quality of the rice. Yes, there are. So people would do anything to bring in rice. Look at rice now being smuggled inside plastic
jerry cans and stuff. Yeah.
The jerry cans. When you see this, you think it's engine oil.
Can you imagine?
You think it's engine oil.
It's
actually rice.
Yusuf, when Jide talked about money, the Yorubas, they say una no get too many prayers. It's karuno, kakole mole, karale mole, and it means money.
Kade febin. Yo, boy,
Kade.
Kafe bin.
Oh, really?
Yes. Kafe bin.
Okay, obìnrin.
Come on. Now you don't take for your
You know if you get that.
No, Yusuf, smuggling is, we talked about not punishing bad behavior. It's been on. Smuggling, I hear it's left to be established a ministry of smuggling because it has become a way of life and anything goes. So I'm not surprised at what's happening here.
No, I've even seen videos that are even more embarrassing than this. Some of these, I saw one recently when a woman, you know, some women you think they have fibroid, this will be like this. So the woman was exactly like that. They didn't know that.
No be they are this thing, they are belly. Go on.
Lower abdomen.
Sorry,
lower abdomen.
Distended,
I mean. The lower abdomen is distended.
It was so distended that I think she had passed. There are many of them, and I think at some point one of the customs officials suspected that even though many women have this kind of, but why all of them now call them back? Come, let's check you. And the woman in front said, "No, I'm a woman. No, you cannot. This okay. We have women among girls."
Oh yeah.
Those ones will check you.
It was an embarrassing video. By the time they were touching the thing like this, Theo said, "No, don't touch it." They said, "No, we will touch it." Do you know? Bags, they packed, bags and bags like this. They were just bringing it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and it's still remaining. I said, "Wow. How are you able to move around?"
you see,
rice.
You see some
won't tie rice inside
rice.
Inside the
rice.
So something where you don't tie around your hair. Now some people go still eat.
Kai.
And
pack rice in what do you call these vehicles that?
Have you seen petrol being smuggled?
Oh yeah.
Inside sacks of rice.
Oh yes.
Sacks
put
of
them
rice.
deep into it.
So, and the way they do it, they will first put a cellophane around the bag. They put it inside the bag so that the petrol does not leak. So you see the thing, it looks big, just like a bag of rice. But it's actually petrol. You know, the shortening of the borders has really exposed
so many
the appetite of our people for smuggling, because you can now see clearly that they are finding it difficult. Because this is a combined operation involving all the security agencies. So smugglers who used to escape scrutiny, they are no longer escaping scrutiny. So they are devising all kinds of methods just to be able to get past the customs men. But with every passing day, those things they are busting their schemes, and these guys are being made to pay.
Yusuf, but you must give kudos to the ingenious nature of the Nigerian. But if only we can deploy this to useful things. We are creative. Our creative inventiveness is number one in Africa.
I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
When it comes to creative ingenuity, Nigerians, they are first rate. And that is why even when we apply it in positive ways, anywhere we find ourselves abroad, we see it's always applause and applause for Nigerians. They always do well. You know, for example, look at our doctors. Virtually all the countries of the world are looking for them. And not only doctors, nurses, I mean our medical personnel, because they know they are well trained. And despite the fact that our school system and whatever, we still have some challenges, they know that within a few days or weeks, Nigerians have the creative, willpower to learn and adapt, and so in everything. But it's so sad that in this one, it is the bad aspect that we are talking about. Maybe. And I think it is a reflection of our appetite for foreign, foreign things. Yeah. Believe me, Nigerians they believe everything that comes from outside Nigeria is far better than what we have here. Nigerians
but
have that.
Is this not something crazy? You go to a party at somewhere in Ikoyi, and while the foreign rice is being served, from somewhere, what is this other rice type? Ofada comes and everybody rushes Ofada as if that is also imported. It's a mind thing over matter.
Yeah, no, you know, there's no other place where they have Ofada rice. It's our own.
I agree. Okay, you are saying Ofada, no, they Cameroon. As if me, I don't know.
The way, even you will say the way we do Ofada, there is the way they do the soup, the everything. It's so different. But the truth is that, okay, I was in a place in Lekki yesterday, and I won't mention the big name. These are some of countries, billionaires.
Mingle with,
and they served us, and some of us said, this is
Nigerian
the
rice.
most popular rice in America. Why do we have it? Maybe we have short borders. They just laugh. They know how to.
Gentlemen, we must go. We must go. So we shut the borders to the program.
Encourage them.
Yeah, but then we are saying we can be, we can be creative, positively creative. Okay.
Let's use our brain.
It's possible
for great things.
That's it.
Let's come up with great ideas.
Run a thread to Jide and Yusuf from the electoral process, and so we can do creative things.
A Nigerian can invent an electronic voting machine that will banish rigging in our country.
Yes,
because we must get to that point.
Yeah, okay.
Our country, the government must encourage the people to even bring out money for research in that area. So that
the solution producer say make I shut you down. So we are shutting our borders.
Talk like that?
No, he's the other here. We must go. See the time.
How you go? When people still enjoy us, you say make we go.
But can we continue?
No, hold on. 19 days to Christmas, so we expect some more smugglings and so on.
We are expecting the hamper that you will give me.
Oh, come on, hamper, yes. Imported or local one.
Okay. All of the above.
All right, Adekunle, Yusuf, thank you for your time.
I'm always glad to be here.
And Jide, welcome back.
Thanks.
So we must hit the ground running. That's our program for today. Please, if you missed it, you may watch the program on other platforms, which we'll show you on the screen. So on behalf of the Backroom Boys, we greet you and we say Merry Christmas in advance to you. Bye-bye now.